Okay, good morning, folks, and welcome to a new trading week and stock charts today. What we're going to do this morning is we're going to go over the pre-market activity in both the stock and currency markets and perhaps some commodities. And then we're going to segue over into members' stock chart requests, which is where I review the symbols that our gold members submit for me to review on video. Now, members, I posted the week ahead commentary in the members area. Non-members, I posted the podcast version of that video, the conversation with regard to our positions on the blog as well. It's there for you to view. As a matter of fact, I will link to it at the end of this video. All right, so let's kick things off with a headline that is only going to grow. Over the weekend, it was revealed DOJ confirms Inspector General will probe impropriety, political motivation of Obama FBI spying on Trump. As if the average American weren't aware of this months ago. The most underinvestigated, underreported story of all time. And in fact, on Twitter, reporter for Fox News, Charlie Gasparino, who I happen to like, he's a really good guy. But there are times where Charlie gets caught up in his own BS and he's rationalizing the FBI's infiltration of the Trump campaign. Please. So I'm sure he'll get back to me. And Charlie, if you're listening, I still challenge the fact that you did a 6-minute mile. You never responded to me on that. And the fact that Charlie's suggesting there's nothing to investigate here is concerning. Where is the investigative journalism? Charlie's a ballsy guy. If there's anybody that could do it, he can. He's more of a Wall Street reporter. But Jesus Christ, where is the next generation of investigative reporters? It's horrible. So more to come on this. Charlie, if you're listening, have a great day. Okay, let's kick things off with the U.S. dollar. We spoke a lot about the U.S. dollar last week. And yesterday on the week ahead commentary, I showed, at least on the dollar ETF, the UUP, how the dollar was showing some signs of topping action. This week, we do have a new weekly high. We are off of that high. Now, what could influence the dollar? If there's a resolution to the trade talks with China, I think that the dollar will drop. If you see bonds continue to rally as they did on Friday, you will see the dollar pull back. But as it stands right now, the path of least resistance is no doubt higher. Now, taking a look at gold. Gold overnight took it on the chin. Yet again, a new weekly low. We are very close to critical support. We broke critical support last week at 1,300, and we dropped like a stone. And now we are nearing the 1,280 level. In fact, what was the low overnight? The low overnight was 1281.20. So we're not far off of that mark. Natural gas. A strong back half of the week last week. So far this week, it's taking it on the chin. But this was a big move last week. So it appears as though we are building a base on nat gas and now beginning to build the right side of a cup. So more to come here in the coming days. Oil, it continues to move higher, but as we begin the week, we do not have a new weekly high just yet. And in fact, Houston, we have a problem here. We broke down on Friday below the lower band of support. We rallied back, attempted to recapture, and we're seeing some weakness here. And I even discussed this on the week ahead commentary with regard to the topping action. We did not drill down to a 4-hour chart, so this is really just validating my opinion from the week ahead commentary. Again, it's posted on the members area. The video version, audio version is free in the vlog area of the website, or again, I'll link to it on the back half of this video here. To the stock futures, looking good. We are up very, very strong this morning on the S&P futures. Very, very strong. Up over 16 points, over a half percentage point. I think we are moving higher. We were bullish on the week ahead commentary. We are very close to a new weekly high, week over week. So the S&P 500 looking good as we begin the week. The Dow Jones, very strong this morning, up 221 points on the session. Not much in terms of economic data until we get the Fed minutes and durable goods. So we'll probably hold these gains into the open. The NASDAQ, it broke out last week out of this wedge formation. It pulled back and retested overnight, and now we are poised for a move higher. So the NASDAQ appears poised to rally. We are up at current over 50 points, nearly 3/4 of a percentage point. Taking a look at bonds. Now, bonds broke out last Friday. They pulled back and retested. What we're looking for here is a rally to new weekly highs. That'll push the 10-year yield lower. It had a strong week last week, but it did back off the highs of the week. So watch for a resolution of these trade talks with China, because I think it will be bond bullish, stock market bullish, and dollar bearish. Let's get to member stock chart request. Again, this is where we review the symbols that our members submit for me to review. We're going to kick things off with symbol IQ. Not much in terms of weekly data here, so we're going to skip this. Let's just go to the daily chart. So recent IPO, we have a higher low on daily price, prior low 1530, most recent low 1579. We have skyrocketed off of that support level, pivot point at 20.50. We are not trading above that pivot point. What I'd be looking for is one of two things, or both: a pullback and a retest of support here, and or a breakout and a close above this upper band of resistance, and ideally a close above 2050, which again is the pivot point of this W formation. So IQ, no doubt, the path of least resistance appears to be to the upside, but we are consolidating. We're looking for a breakout here. Volume to the downside has been dropping off sequentially. Good stuff. So I like the setup here as a long. Now I'm going to go over three semiconductor names. I'm going to go from best to worst. AMD the first, which I'm surprised at. The story has really changed for this company. It is breaking out on a weekly basis. Now keep in mind, the semis, they closed well off the highs of the week last week, and while we did have some profit taking on AMD, it was ever so slightly. So the performance of AMD relative to the semiconductor sector as a whole vastly outperformed the semiconductor sector. AMD did. So I like to set up here on a weekly basis. We have a clean breakout of this bull flag formation on both price, RSI, validating. Volume has been rising sequentially, but still below average. Daily chart. A very strong week last week. We broke out above resistance and we closed there. Friday's price action is a hollow-filled candlestick. What that implies to me is that you saw some shorts getting squeezed on Friday as we neared resistance. I would not be a buyer yet of AMD. I think we're going to get a pullback, and on that pullback, perhaps even down to 1250, you could open up a position. Now, if we consolidate, break out, and close above this upper band of resistance, well, then it's game on. Right now, though, I would give this some room to pull back. And on that pullback, again, I think that this could be bought. In all probability, what's going to happen is we're going to pull back and retest the breakout point on a weekly chart, and we'll see whether or not it holds. Next chart up. Weekly chart, Micron Technologies. This is my second, let's call it least favorite. I would not be a buyer of these shares. I do not like the weekly price action. You do have Stokes, which are hooking up. You do have RSI, which is hooking up. I do not like the fact that we closed well off the highs of the week last week. That tells me that we have profit takers above, and that we could get a pullback and a retest of the breakout point. Volume last week was very good. Daily chart. So a fairly orderly pullback. $54.27 is a support level. We closed down below it at $53.39. I would wait to see whether or not we retest the 50-period moving average and hold it. And we may even pull back to $51 per share to $51.50. That would be an attractive entry point. Look for a bullish reversal bar off of that level. And then if you get that bullish reversal bar, meaning a down morning with a positive close, then you could open up a long position. Not until then. AMAT, by far my least favorite position of the morning in the semiconductor space. We had a bearish key reversal week last week. We had broken out earlier in the week, only to reverse and close lower, and we bounced off the lower band of support. RSI trending lower. Stokes trending lower down below the 50 level. Volume very high last week, so the weekly chart is not pretty. Daily chart. Here was our attempted breakout. It failed. We dropped all the way back down to the lower band of support. We have a breakout point failure on RSI. We're trading back down below support after breaking out 2 weeks ago. Volume on Friday, very strong. So obviously a news event here, taking the shares down. Next chart up, CRSP, weekly chart. We broke out last week, a very strong week, up nearly 23% on the week. I love the setup here. Double bottom setups on both RSI and Stokes. Volume outstanding. Daily chart. We're a bit extended here. That doesn't mean we can't move higher. This is a very volatile stock. We broke out of this pennant formation, retested it, moved higher Friday, a bit of stalling action, which is fine, as we leaned into and closed at the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on Thursday. I think you have more upside here. Some big sellers on Friday, but we closed well off the lows of the session. That tells me that there was some stealth accumulation on Friday. I think that these shares move higher. Next chart up, weekly chart TRXC. We broke out the week of April the 9th, pulled back and retested. Continuation breakout the week of the 7th, and of course last week. RSI, higher lows, higher highs, same deal here on Stokes. Volume for the past 2 weeks, well above average, looking good on a weekly chart. A bit extended here as we closed out the week above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on a weekly basis. Expect a pullback soon. Daily chart. We are a bit overbought on RSI 85.60, but this is a micro cap. And so you could easily get RSI above 90. I think we're moving higher here. Next resistance level, 3.30. You may see some sellers, those who bought back here, looking to get made whole, lean into the shares, selling shares to get made whole as we hit that resistance level. Volume has been very good. So I like the shares, a bit overbought and nearing resistance, but otherwise they look strong and will probably move higher. That's it for this morning, folks. Everybody have a profitable trading day. Members, I will be in the forum later on today, and everyone be well.